cash offer on a property. I'm not sure if she was talking about, because the conversation we were having was using the 0% money to purchase the property. So there wouldn't be a lender involved. So her question was, okay, so you're saying I can use these credit cards to purchase a property, 0% money. I will have to show some kind of proof of funds to, I think she was talking about the attorney, the seller's attorney, so that
Okay.
there's some kind of proof of there. So her question was, how do I show that with the credit cards?
What kind of acquisition prices are we talking?
She was talking somewhere between 100 and 150,000.
Okay. I mean, that's pretty stout. That's a, most people that not all, not 100%, there's exceptions to the rule, but certainly most people that are using credit card financing to get into deals, very few of them are turning into cash buyers unless it's for properties that don't qualify for the RCNs and the Lima ones and whatnot of the world. And so I can't think of a good reason. I mean, I can probably guess what someone would think, but I can't think of a good reason why someone would want to, when their liquidity is limited, because if you're using credit cards, then it means you don't have a lot of reserves, you don't have a lot of savings most of the time, or you have it and you're looking to preserve it. And so I can't think of a great reason why you wouldn't take the financing option if your liquidity and reserves were somewhat limited. And so that feels like she's making her own hurdle higher if she's got limited reserves and wants to do, from a cash buyer perspective, when your reserves are limited, buying something for $100,000 to $150,000 feels a lot to me like she's making the hurdle even higher, and doesn't sound like it makes a lot of sense to me. But yes, if she wanted to purchase something and she had the availability, I mean, we've seen plastic use 7, 8, and 9 credit cards with some clients, and then wire those funds to the title company for the closing. We've seen that happen. So I hope my message isn't that you can't do it, but I probably wouldn't spend a lot of time promoting that as either the norm or a great way to. Again, I don't know your borrower, so don't take this the wrong way, but if she latches on to the wrong thing and thinks this is for that thing that it really isn't designed to do, then that's she put herself in a trick sack, so to speak.
So maybe should she more be looking at using the credit cards for down payment funds?
Oh gosh, yes. I mean, when you're buying a property that you can easily finance, through a good lender like the ones we all know, RCN, Lima One, all those kinds of places, Civic, whatever, then yeah, I mean, that's far more. I mean, it just makes way more sense. Now, let me finish the thought real quick. You guys have all seen and heard from Eric Moz, and we haven't brought other clients on, but you work on this for a while, and you build up, like Eric, you build up $400,000, $500,000, $600,000 in available credit. Then it's probably, number one, you've got the available credit. Plus, number two, you've been doing it for 2, 3, 4 years. So now you know how the game works in a way that you can already tell she doesn't know how the game works kind of by what she's trying to do. And so after the funds are available and you understand how kind of the game is played, then it makes potentially a little bit more sense, because a guy like Eric, probably has 6 different lenders with checks in the drawer that he could go write the checks on right now for large lines of credit, and boom, he could probably do that. But in her case, she's got to build up to that.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So for the most part, though, those lenders you talked about don't source the funds.
No, RCN and Lima One and Civic, none of them are going to source funds and care about it. And we've never had, Quickline or any of them come back and say, yeah, the deal died because those guys all know credit card financing is what a lot of LenCred clients do, and what a lot of real estate investors nowadays are doing, which is why on the quick line side of things, they've got a kind of a dedicated resource to help all of their clients with the credit card pieces of it. Because, at the end of the day, if you're working with real estate investors, then if you look at any kind of broker or lender that works with real estate investors, either with a high concentration or maybe exclusively, you can look at it one of two ways. This is kind of the reality of it. The reality of it is, if you look at the last 100 transactions, those last 100 transactions with that broker or lender probably aren't going to be 99 different borrowers. There's going to be a lot of clients that are, working on their 10th and 20th and 30th and 50th, property, because they've built up the capacity and the infrastructure to do multiple deals. So from that perspective, you're going to see a lot of, come back, investors that are kind of coming back to the well. But when you look at it from the other perspective of the people that are inquiring and wanting to get financing, in that sense, they're going to be heavy towards the first-time investors, real heavy toward, you're going to, it's one of the reasons why we work with Quickline, is because they are fine with not only somebody buying their first property, but they're actually fine with somebody coming to them without being under contract, because they'll throw them in a drip campaign. And that's pretty rare, that they're willing to kind of be bothered or spend their time on somebody that doesn't even have a property under contract. And so in that environment, I guess what I'm getting at is that the first-time investors that are buying their first-time property, they need somebody oftentimes to help them do something they haven't done before. Whereas, the Market Knuckles and Eric Mozes of the world that have bought multiple properties know exactly how to liquidate their own credit cards. They don't need somebody to hold their hand doing it. So that service wouldn't be necessary if all of your clientele were repeat clients. So to the degree that it matters, you wouldn't see that service that Quickline offers from a brokerage house who doesn't work with first-time investors, for example. So.